What is the likelihood of the Iranian regime falling following the protest? Do you have any idea of what the likelihood would be
When?
in Iran? The central
No.
government. Yeah.
When? Depends
Oh,
on what you mean. When? Like
oh, sorry. When?
within the next month or within 5 years?
No, within, say, the next couple of months.
Low,
Right. Okay. But you believe
but not
potential.
impossible. Not
Right.
impossible though. Okay, like it could happen tomorrow. Okay, it could fall tomorrow. It's more likely than ever before. Okay, so it's still low in my opinion, but more likely than ever before. Okay, if you give me a bigger time frame, that is much very more becomes a lot more likely. Okay, so
Okay.
if you say 5 years, a lot more likely. Like
Okay.
this is what's happening is irreversible. It's irreversible. Something has changed significantly. Go on.
Cool. I was just wondering. Do you know? I was thinking if it was sustained, right? If they like kept coming out day in, day out, day in, day out, it would get to a stage where um, the Iranian regime would have to change tactics. They'd have to do something different because it becomes embarrassing then. What do you think? What do you think of that?
Yeah, the tactic could be that they come and just massacre the people, right? Um, but that's a major gamble
That's a big risk.
because that's a big risk because if they do that now, because they're noticing how many people who support them are leaving them, that could ignite a massive exodus by higher official. Okay, and I don't know why Khamenei didn't speak for 16 days. Okay, because so many people thought he's dead. Usually, when the protest happens, he comes out and speaks 2 or 3 days. But the fact that this time he took him 16 days to come, so many people thought he was dead. So a lot of people showed their true colors. A lot of higher officials that they were like adjusting everything in case the regime falls, right? And maybe that's why he didn't come out because they wanted to see who their friends are, right? But even some government officials were a lot of people are like trying to get their money out. Some people are like putting their family in the safe houses, some higher officials, right? So we don't have all the information, right? But if high officials are putting their families in safe houses, I know they have better information. And if they're thinking that something is going to happen that requires them to put their family in safe houses, that means they have seen something. And what have they seen? Have they seen like a lot of their own turning on them? Have they seen rumors of higher officials like signaling that they might not stand with Khamenei? And again, Khamenei, if what if he dies actually? Because the man is old, right? Everybody, this is a silent, open secret that nobody's talking about. Nobody knows whether people are going to be loyal to the next supreme leader, because the sacredness is not there. Because the next supreme leader is either going to be Mujtaba Khamenei or Raisi, which is the current president, Mujtaba Khamenei, which is Khamenei's son, or maybe Alam al-Huda, or Ali Khomeini, which is the grandchild of Khomeini. Okay, very unlikely. Okay, these three, but none of these people have the sacred position that Khamenei has in the hearts and minds of a lot of pro-regime people. So his death eventually might cause the division that everybody was waiting for it to open the doors to a coup.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. I think it has to be some of the top officials that need to start kind of standing down or go against the current regime. I think that was the case with the Arab Spring as well. We saw people, for example, in Egypt, it was some of the military commanders. They decided to turn. I know that's messed up now, in Egypt, but initially started off with people protesting and then sustaining the
Okay,
protest.
it's not
Yeah.
really messed up. If you look at even if you look at Egypt right now, okay, it is messed up, okay, but there are more freedoms right now in Egypt than there were before. So, originally, when Sisi came to power, it was really bad, really, really bad, worse than Mubarak ever was, right? But isn't it slowly changing? People are telling me that you can get away with saying things again in Egypt.
Is it? To be honest, I haven't been following the news, but I think the main difference between the two, between the Iranian regime and the Egyptian, is that the ideological principles of the Iranian regime are much stronger than what
Yes,
happened with
but it
Mubarak.
wouldn't be there. It wouldn't be the ideological principles wouldn't be there anymore if we turn into a military dictatorship rather than a theocracy.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. But I'm hoping, honestly, I'm hoping this could be, because if Iran becomes a democracy, honestly, it could have a ripple effect throughout that region, and you'll see
Yeah.
maybe Iraq. There'll be no reason to keep in the people that are currently the pro-Iranian militias. They'll just disband, because they won't have any
And Lebanon
ideological
as
leader.
well. Imagine Hezbollah in Lebanon without the funding of Iran. And imagine all the political parties that are staying in power in Iraq only because the Iranian government is funding them. The Iraqi people have been robbed off of the government that they have chosen because of the armed forces that are funded in Iraq by Iranian government.
Completely agree, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I love about Iran is that this is coming from the people, from everyone, and it's not like a top-down thing. It's everyone just gathering up who wants secularism, who are fighting for it. I wish we had this kind of mentality in Pakistan. Honestly, like it inspires me. The thing is, in Pakistan, if Imran, do you know, if you look at the big secularist movements, in the Muslim world, you see Turkey and you see Iran, and the two main reasons why is because they had people in power who were looked up to. So with the Shah in Iran and with Ataturk in Turkey, who were looked up to and who established secularism in that society, and then it's come from one generation to the next because of that kind of leader. He's kind of, whereas in Pakistan it could have been Imran Khan. He could have done that. He had the ability to do that, and he went the other way. And it's just so disappointing that he didn't support secularism, because if he did, he could have had that same ideological impact in Pakistan as the Shah and Ataturk had in their respective countries.
Yeah, that would be. You're right. Pakistan is going the opposite way, unfortunately.
And the sad thing is, the people there. Honestly, I go to Pakistan quite often, and the people there are just so friendly. Like, if you walk down the street, the people who have nothing, they'll give you, like street vendors who have absolutely nothing, living on $1 a day. They give you free food. Like, if you're a tourist, if you're visiting the country, they'll give you free food. They'll invite you to their homes. It's incredible, and it's just sad to see that these people are the ones they're the ones that suffer the most as a result of the Islamism, which has been pushed in Pakistan, and it's just so sad to see, because I honestly, like, I've lived in the UK all my life, but the people there, they're just, I don't know if it's Islam that creates that kind of mentality. Maybe, I don't know, but just the kind of welcoming culture there, like to foreigners and to guests, is unbelievable. And when you see the lynching, you think, how can the same people that are so nice and so friendly?
It's not the same people.
Pakistan has many
people. Yeah, Pakistan has many people. Like, the people who are doing the lynching are not those friendly people that you're seeing.
But do you know, like, even in the UK, like amongst the Pakistani community here, like, there seems to be a deference to religion, which I don't understand. Do you know, like, this kind of respect about religion, like, in every interaction, you like salam, you're like, oh, inshallah, this and that. But you're seeing it less and less with certain people, but more and more with people who are more religious. I don't know. You see, what you're seeing in the UK is a kind of, you're seeing people who are becoming completely secular on one side, and then you have people on the other side who are becoming increasingly religious, and there's a gap in the middle where you don't, like, a friendly Muslim probably is in the middle of these group. You're not that kind of group is kind of dwindling, and I see kind of in Iran, it just seems to be, everyone seems to be like anti-regime from what I can see. I can't see. I don't see any pro-regime protests. I haven't seen anything that's pro-regime so far.
There was a pro-regime protest that was organized by the government itself. There was 2 attempts at that. The first one was so embarrassingly low turnout that they had to do another one to make up for it. But usually the pro-regime protests are kind of fake, because government employees they have to show up at these protests, right? Like they're going to notice if you don't show up. And so they just fluff the numbers like that, right? There's a calling for a protest. And the government itself like provides the resources, they bring the bus. Like the anti-regime protest is like organic, right? But the pro-regime protest, the government provides buses, goes, picks people up, organizes, brings their food. And also there's an understanding that it will be noticed if you don't show up as an employee. Like the office will know that, where were you? Like, what the hell? Right.
Cool. Just one more question. If the Iranian regime collapses, right, would within the next 5 years, would you go to Iran and start a party? And yeah.
I used to say no, because I always said that even if the regime falls, there's enough religious fanatics in Iran, and I burned the Quran, right? I burned Qurans on camera, right? And I thought, like, even with a secular democracy, I don't think they would have the resources to be able to provide protection for me enough to be able to go there, right? But honestly, like, if there is a secular democracy and stability, I would be too tempted to go. I would probably just go think to myself that if I go there unannounced, and then just nobody's going to be able to find out I'm there, I could just go to my childhood. I would be able to go to my home and school and take pictures there. And then when I leave, I could be like, psych, I was there. Like, I was thinking about doing that with India as well. Like, I wanted to go to India. Like, who could, like, they're not going to announce in the airport. Like, I could go to, no, actually, no, they have FIRs against me. Am I, like, in the system or something? Would I get arrested?
Yeah, don't go there, man. It'll be in the system. As soon as you land, because it's hard to get a visa for India. It's a complicated process. It's not straightforward.
As a Canadian, I have a Canadian passport. I should be able to just go there.
Even in the UK, it's very difficult to get an Indian visa, because I think they're worried about, letting in people who might be like Pakistanis, that might be enemies of the state, etc. But you're an enemy of the state anyway there, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right.
But if they do collapse, man, you've got to go back, man. If the Iranian regime collapses, honestly, we need a party that's a secular, democratic party. I know there's plenty of Iranians that would do that anyway, but I think, someone like you who has, who's lived in the West, etc. I think, and who understands uniting people, of different ethnic backgrounds and whatnot. I think you'd make a very, an important candidate that people could get behind. The problem, well, I mean, if I go there, I wouldn't announce it. I would be stabbed by some people probably. I burned the Quran. I don't want to. Okay. I wouldn't. I don't know if I will go there secretly. I would probably grow a beard, cut my hair short, go there for a week, and then come back. Right? To have your questions answered on the next live stream, become my patron today. You can do so with as little as $1 a month. Link in the description below.